On Tuesday, January 14th. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. You may be seated. All right, if you take a look at your agenda, I'd like to start with a proclamation recognizing the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. birthday holiday. And as treasurer, I would like Councilperson Fletcher to stand, secretary to stand, please. Do you mind accepting this on behalf of the town? Recognizing Monday, January 20th, 2025, as the official national celebration of the holiday marking the birthday of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Whereas Dr. Martin Luther King was born in Atlanta, Georgia on January 15th, 1929, and went on to become an American institution standing as a champion of racial equality and uniform justice. And whereas Dr. King lived a life preaching the gospel of peace and nonviolence while surrounded by just the opposite during a time of tremendous social upheaval in the United States. Whereas Dr. King's steadfast courage and dedication to the message was never shaken throughout a career that took him all over the world, ultimately resulting in his award of the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964. Whereas few men or women across the great span of time have influenced or inspired generations of Americans and citizens of the world to the degree achieved by Dr. King, a legacy that grows stronger with each passing year. Whereas Dr. King was brutally taken from us during the height of his influence, but only after sharing his dream of a world where people were known not for the color of their skin, but the content of their character. And whereas it now falls to us as the grateful beneficiaries of his message and his work to keep his spirit alive through succeeding generations by recognizing his birthday as a national day of celebration, remembrance, and respect for the way this good man left the world a better place than he found it. Now, therefore, I, Janet T. Simpson, Mayor of Snow Hill, Maryland, on behalf of the members of the Town Council, do hereby proclaim that Monday, January 20th, 2025 is recognized as Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday holiday in the town of Snow Hill. In doing so, we call upon all our citizens to pause and reflect on the life of the message and the sacrifice of Dr. King as we continue to try to make his dream a reality in our country. Proclaimed this 14th day of January 2025, signed by and attested Rick Pollock, Town Manager, and Janet Simpson, Mayor. So. Here's that. All right, at this time, items number 4, 5, 6, 7, plus ordinance 2025-1 on Cornell Street are to be moved to the date of January the 16th. And I'd like a motion from the council to vote on this. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Discussion.
Discussion. Sure.
Can we discuss why we're moving them?
Sure. There is, we're aware of the concern that we have a difference in posting time. So these actions have to be moved. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion is passed. All right, we go to number 8, presentation of the annual audit of the fiscal year 2023-2024. Mr. Taylor is with us from PKS and Company, PA. Welcome.
Thanks for making time for me tonight. Is it going to be displayed up there, or is it just the handout?
No, it's just handouts.
So in front of you, you do have a copy of the financials, which we're not going to go through. Instead, we have a packet, which is also included in the packet that was handed out. Which kind of just highlights or shows some of the financial highlights rather than going through the 60-page financial statement. So here today, I will present the results of the audit of the town of Snow Hill for the year ended June 30, 2024. And I guess the first thing to note is the whole point of an audit is our audit of opinion. It's why the town needs their audit. And I'm happy to state that we have issued an unmodified or clean opinion on the financial statements of the town. This is the highest level of assurance that we as CPAs can give. So a lot of credit to Lou and her staff. They really make it easy for us. Very, very easy to work with.
And our treasurer on council.
And so first, with the highlights, we're going to take a look at the general funds. So this is the primary operating account of the town, which is mainly funded through tax revenue grants as well as service charges. Just looking at the recap of the general fund revenues and expenditures this past year compared to budget as well as last year. Going to take a more high-level approach because in later slides, we'll kind of look more closely at some of these key differences in each kind of line item here. But overall, you can see that general fund revenue increased 235,000 compared to 2023 at just over 3.6 million for FY24. And this actually was just around 27K over the budget now. And on the expenditure side, again, we saw a similar increase of about 233,000 from FY23 to just over 3.2 million FY24. And this actually came in quite a bit under budget, 359,000 under the budget amount for general fund expenditures. And then you can see we have these sort of miscellaneous items down here, which is called other financing sources. So this is, things like interest or proceeds from long-term debt, or proceeds from the sale of assets, which aren't really normal like operating activities. So they're shown. And so when all that's said and done, you can see that the net change in fund balance for the general fund is an increase of 411,000 for FY24, just slightly above what it was for 23. You can see there at 403,000. So when you take that and you take the beginning fund balance, that leaves the general fund with a total fund balance of 2.08 million for FY24. And one thing I did want to highlight about fund balance, there's an organization called the Government Finance Officers Association that kind of puts out guidelines about how towns and certain municipalities should be handling their funds. They're also known as the GFOA. They have guidelines about fund balance and specifically general fund balance. They'd like to see that towns have at least 60 days of operating expenditures. So I did a calculation, and based off the 3.2 million, that's looking at about 268,000 a month. This equates to roughly 7.7 months of operating expenses. So that's well above what the recommended amount is. Just wanted to note that there. And at the bottom there, you can see the capital projects fund. So this was established back in FY21 when the town received a large influx of ARPA funds, and therefore trying to manage various capital projects. It kind of warranted the creation of this new fund to help track that and not kind of have it convoluted with other grants and other capital projects. So you can see for FY24, there was quite a bit more expenditures. A lot of this relates to debt service of capital leases and other loans, as well as just capital outlay. But one thing to know with the capital outlay, this is largely offset by the proceeds from long-term debt. So obviously, if you're issuing new capital leases, you have that capital lease liability, but you have the associated assets. So kind of it's like a net effect there. So for FY24, the capital projects fund did see a decrease in fund balance of 123,000. It leaves with only 20,000. When this fund was first set up back in FY21, it was set up by a transfer from the general fund in 800,000. And over these past few years, they've kind of been chipping away at that. So I have had talks with Lou and about maybe a second transfer is needed to kind of keep that capital projects fund kind of flowing. And then to talk a little more about fund balance, on the second slide here, we're looking at the governmental funds. This is largely the general fund, but like I said, it also includes the special revenue fund as well as the capital projects fund. It's kind of just looking at a 5-year trend of the various classes of fund balance. So you can see there in 21, we had that large capital projects balance, assigned balance of 580. So that's from that initial 800,000 less what we actually spent of that in that FY20. And you can see over time, we've kind of chipped that down. It is down to the 20,000 now. But on the opposite side, the unassigned fund balance has seen, it did see dips, obviously from 2020 to 21. You can see that dip because of that transfer. But for the past 3 years, we have been seeing some pretty considerable growth in that unassigned balance. But on the third slide here, we take a closer look at general fund revenues by source. So you can see the 3 largest categories, which is pretty common for most cities, towns, is property taxes, intergovernmental or grants, as well as charges for services. So you can see that property taxes saw an increase of about 101,000. It's about a 7% increase from FY23. And intergovernmental, this is largely consisting of county and state grants. I did look into it. There's about 864,000 of county grants, as well as 291,000 of state grants. And then, so the first charges for services line there, you see pretty consistent. This is mainly solid waste fees as well as liquor board fees. One kind of newer item is this charges for services from other funds. I think it was 3 years ago, the general fund started paying all payroll for the town. So then essentially they will be reimbursed by each fund for their portion. So it essentially washes between all funds, but it is shown as revenue here, and then it's shown as expense on those fund sides. And then fines and forfeitures, you can see, had a pretty substantial increase. This is due to a large increase in the speed camera fees, as we know. And investment earnings, again, this is kind of just dependent on the market. FY24, did seem to outperform FY23. And then other revenue is just rental and other miscellaneous revenue. And so again, we did see about a $235,000 increase. But then taking a closer look at the general fund expenditures. And again, as I said, with the revenue side, these 3 categories are typically the largest 3 being general government, public works, and public safety. Public safety obviously being police and fire department, public works being stuff like economic development, things like that. So we did see about $150,000 increase in general government for FY24. Looking into it, there was about a $60,000 increase in legal fees, as well as about a $54,000 increase in admin salaries. And then looking at public safety, digging into that, we did see around a $50,000 increase in police department salaries. Another thing to consider here is the annual contribution to the fire department did increase from $135,000 to $175,000. And there is a pass through from Worcester County that goes to the fire department. That increased from $80,000 last year to $97,000. So that's why we're seeing that increase in that public safety. And to kind of comment on this, what might seem weird, this debt service only in 24. There was a new accounting standard last year related to, I'm not trying not to get too technical into it, related to subscription-based assets. It's similar to leases. It's essentially like a software that you don't actually own. And so the police department has a software called evidence.com, which we get set up as a subscription asset. And so that debt service, essentially that principal and interest that's paid on that subscription liability. Take a look at some of the other funds, these specifically the enterprise funds. These funds consist of the water and sewer fund. So first, take a look at the water funds in the operating revenues. You can see right away we have about $112,000 increase in meter charges for services. This is directly related to the rate increase that went into effect January 1 of 23. Which increased the rate from $39.89 to $50. This is about a 25% increase, which is pretty close to what the increase for the actual charge for services was. And looking at the various operating expenses, you can see that there was quite a bit more contract services. These were mainly amounts paid to Davis Bone and Verdell, as well as Susquehanna International related to the wastewater treatment plant. Some other items, repairs and maintenance. Again, this is subject to fluctuation just based on, the timing of, maintenance needed. I did see there was more water system maintenance. I think that was kind of the main reason for the increase this past year. And so again, after we consider some of these kind of other, non-operating items, such as capital grants and interest, that leaves the water fund with an increase in net position of 48,000. Pretty similar to last year. One thing I always want to point out though, with this depreciation and amortization line, you can see it's about 100,000 each year. That's a non-cash item that is used to reflect, the use of assets over their estimated useful life. So it's a non-cash expense. So when you're looking at the true bottom line, you kind of want to add that back. So even though it seems like they're kind of scraping it by, I think that they are doing better than what it seems. And you can see at the end of the year, given that increase, that gives the total net position of the water fund at just under 1.6 million. And conversely, with the sewer funds, again, it kind of jumps out to you as a pretty substantial increase in meter charges for services. This also relates to the rate increase. This one was a little bit more substantial, from 73.47 to 135. This is about an 83% increase. Then on the opposite side, you do see that the septic and the out-shaped services are down. After talking with Lou about this, it was, there was a lot of work being done with the wastewater treatment plant, so it wasn't able to kind of take as much as it usually can. Overall, the expenses are pretty comparable, nothing really too crazy. And then when we come down, we consider the non-operating items. It does show a pretty significant loss, a loss as it would seem, but again, if you look at the depreciation, which is even higher for the sewer fund, just because of the amount of infrastructure that the sewer fund has, it kind of is negating most of that loss. I just want to point that out. So then when you consider that decrease in net position for the year, we do have a net position of 12.3 million, with the large majority of that being invested in capital assets. And to kind of circle back to ARPA, on this page 7 here, we have kind of a quick recap. So as many of you know, the town received just over 2 million in ARPA funds in 2 different installments. The first was in FY22. The second, you can see at the top there, was received in FY23. This is kind of just tracking what it's being spent on and what funds we have left, as well as with the bottom there, you can see what is deferred and related to each specific fund. So as of June 30, 2024, there is just under 1.3 million of ARPA funds left to be spent. And these have been obligated at this point and are required to be then expended at the end of FY21-26. So I know I kind of rushed through it and it's very high level. Didn't want to get too deep into the details, but if you'd like me to clarify anything or have any questions, I'd be happy to do so.
Questions from council? Mr. Taylor. Please? No? No, having? What's a person question? Okay. Good. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
For a good report.
Yeah, it is.
It's
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah. And again, I did want to stay around and thank Lou and her staff. It's obviously not easy to be audited and still maintain those normal operations,
Right.
just really a lot. And, it's not an easy process. We do appreciate her keeping up with us and being very helpful. So,
Yes, thank you. And Melissa and Teron, thank you also. Great, yes.
Lou, I want to go back to June of this year, when we first met. He told me when this audit was done. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I remember, so when the audit was done, that's the bridge moving toward the budget. And he said, how can I help you? And I said to you, I want you to teach me about the budget as much as you know. This is my first term looking at it here and looking at the, town budget process. I'm being asked to be that we're ready to open that door, bring me in a little head of, so that you can bring me up to snuff. And go forward. Thank you. And thank you for an excellent job. You guys are doing a great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, town managers report. Rick? Mr. Pollock?
Nothing really to add, except I would just like to invite everyone to keep their eyes on Purnell Street. Once the snow and ice is out of the way, we're scheduled to start paving right away. And had it not been for the recent snow, the paving would be underway, and that is the last piece of that project after years and years of talking about it, planning about it, finding the money to pay for it. We're just about there, so hopefully we'll be able to get that paved, and everybody will see a nice new street with toilet flushing and water running and everything looking just right. So we had a groundbreaking ceremony when project started, so we'll have a nice dedication ceremony when it's over. Invite everyone to come out and take a look.
Any questions for Mr. Pollock? Mr. Lee? You good?
Yeah.
Councilperson Walsh?
Yeah,
No,
great.
it's great.
Yep.
Councilperson Fletcher? Good. Economic development, take a look at that. Alistair is not here, but Mr. Pollock would be able to answer any questions from the council.
See, Lori has signed on through Zoom.
Oh, has she? She's muted. Ms. McAllister, you here?
Hi,
Ms. McAllister?
Just
Hi.
to listen in, make sure I didn't miss anything. I don't have anything to add to my report, but I can say that I'm at the destination assessment workshop, and it's going very well. I'll be bringing home a lot of good information.
Okay, thank you. Any questions of her? Okay. Code enforcement. Mr. Clerk?
I don't have a microphone, so I'll try to talk a lot.
Oh, we can add. You can just, we have one over there, well, now two. Oh, gosh.
There's not much to add. We did have a little bit of turn down in the amount of permits that were submitted and approved, but that's typical for the month of December. Not a lot of, construction generally goes on in that time, usually it's spring to summer, early fall. I do want to point out that we do have all of the forms for the stormwater management for 503 Church Street, which is Dollar General. Unfortunately, we do have a bond in place. Unfortunately, they have a beneficiary of the bond as a county, and we are working with them to effort that change to make it town of Snow Hill. So that we have everything corrected in that area. We're just waiting for them to get back to with us. That bond was significantly reduced from what the county originally said because they had better information on the installation cost. And that's about the only things I have. Oh, in regards to, warnings for snow removal, we have not been charging anybody or, posting any fines in that regard as of the first snowfall, because from what I understand, it's not a frequent thing in this area. So we went out to homes that had not had snow removed within the time frame and delivered my card and the copy of the ordinance that actually tells them that it has to be done within a certain amount of time. So that we do have further snow events this winter, then we will be issuing civic citations for it.
Any questions?
I just have one question. If, I hadn't heard of this, back at the beginning of your report, a land condo and where we are with that?
Yes, land condo is basically it is a application that can be used in certain circumstances in lieu of subdivision. The difference between a land condo and a regular condominium would be that the actual land is transferred with the condominium. Normally, a condominium only is the interior spaces of a building, not the land, and that's owned by the HOA, and not the actual building, which is owned by the HOA. In this case, there was a property that could not be divided under normal subdivision rules, so they tried to do a land condo. And it did not, condos were not allowed in that zoning district. So therefore, it did not meet the zoning requirements for that to be allowed to be used.
For either one, are you saying?
You can't do either for land condo or regular condos. Any condo of any type was not allowed in the R2 district. I believe it was the R2 district that wasn't there. So we could not allow them to proceed with that. Now they do have all the rights that normally come with that, is they can appeal that decision to the Board of Zoning Appeal. Zoning Board of Appeal, I always messed that up. I'm a little dyslexic, but I apologize. But so they've been notified, the notification was sent to them, a denial letter was sent to them, and notified of their rights to appeal, and also an application was sent to them if they so choose.
Okay, thank you.
I had never heard of it, so took me a little study.
There was, a couple times we mentioned the, mobile unit on, Martin,
On Hearn,
Hearn, I mean, yeah, in East Martin County.
203 Hearn.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Maureen and I spoke with their lawyer, walked them through, they were notified of that not being allowed and requested and required to remove it. They asked for a time extension and it was given to the end of December. They still have not removed it. So we have issued civil citations for that. More effort in getting that done.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, for Mr. Fleur? Okay, let's move to Mr. Barfield, Public Works.
I only have a couple things, Mayor. Just touching bases on Cornell Street, on what Rick was talking about a while ago. This Friday, we're planning on doing the walkthrough, the contractor
Okay,
for the punch list
punch list.
and DBS, because we have a meeting anyway at 10 o'clock with DBS. So I want to do it at 9. It could possibly be, because they haven't told me for sure yet if they can make it then, but it might be after that. But this Friday's we're planning on doing that. The good news is, as far as all the underground utilities have been put in,
Okay,
all the fire hydrants, the new ones, concrete work, curb, gutter. And the good thing is the asphalt plants, I have not heard anything yet as far as them closing or being closed. And hopefully if the weather, because the temperature needs to be above 40 degrees or 40 or above, the asphalt, as soon as it hits that, I don't know if it'll be this coming week maybe, or the following, as soon as it is, I'm gonna be talking to if we can get it done.
Okay.
That way, it's done, said, forgot about. So as far as that, that's all I have for the public works.
Bell Street is open.
And
Bell
Bell
Street
Street
is
is
open,
open, yes, and all, one has been notified of that.
I have just a couple.
questions?
things. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for getting the snow off the streets. I was a little nervous around 10 or 11. I'm calling the mayor, but thank you for getting us all taken care of and found out. And thank you for getting the Christmas decorations down.
We're working on it,
It's getting there right now.
we're working on it, but the snow messed us up, so
Right.
anyway, and we just start someday. And hopefully by Monday or Tuesday,
Yeah.
done deal.
And thank you for staying up to date on the broken water meters.
Yes.
Really appreciate that.
Yeah, I spoke to Linnell today about some of that other stuff, whatever. I'm gonna have for some information this coming week. I was hoping I could have it tomorrow. but the information that is needed and all, and it's been so long ago, probably the first of the week before I can have all the information and run off with it,
Great.
and then she can share it with, making the mayor or whatever.
And I know it's not street sweeping season, but is that machine repaired and ready to roll?
Tomorrow morning, they're going to
When
pick it
it's
up.
done.
We were gonna pick it up
Right.
last week and the snow messed us up. Well, I
Right.
can't get that,
Gotcha.
because that is not the best thing to take across the bridge with ice and snow.
I just wanted
But
to
I
see what
promise
the
you,
progress was.
It'll be picked up in the morning, they'll be leaving here at 5 o'clock, and it'll be back around 1 o'clock.
Great.
Parked in your driveway.
They did my street and then it broke.
I
That's what they
also,
took plenty.
excuse me, I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
I also wanted to say I got several calls about the streets being cleaned thoroughly of snow. And residents were very happy and pleased and wanted to know your name.
Everybody here knows who I am. It's the guys, though, that's all good. I
Okay,
appreciate it, and I told all the guys that.
okay, I wanted you to extend it to
It's
the
already been
guys.
done. I told them as soon as you said something first time, and I told them again yesterday.
Okay. Good, good, good. Any other questions?
No, I have a great comment. Thank you for the great, efficiency of the snow removal and streets. It really was.
I appreciate those guys very much. I
Yeah.
told y'all that during Christmas. I tell them all the time, but if it wasn't for them, I would really have a hard job.
Yes.
I want to join that trio.
Excuse me?
I want to join that, thank you trio train, brother.
And the trash collection too during the cold, cold weather.
Okay, thank you. Water and wastewater treatment,
Bobby's not here to see.
Bobby's not.
No, he texted me a while ago. I showed him, Rick, anyway. He didn't have this in there, I don't think, in his. I do know two of the check valves that had been bad for a while at the sewer plant. One was repaired on the 10th of January. The one of them was repaired on the 8th. So both those check valves at that one station are completed and that lift station is like it's supposed to be. That's in the plant itself. As far as the sludge in the plant, Bobby has done a very in-depth, which I didn't have any doubt that he ever would. When I was speaking to him about the job. That plant, he has got that plant like it's supposed to be and probably as close as it was when it was first put in 2012.
Wow.
Because the sludge tanks, they probably only have maybe a couple foot of sludge in them. They're pressing every day. When Bobby took over, they had probably 18 foot of them. So anyway, the plant is operating like it's supposed to. The water, all of the water in the town is good. Okay, it is tested every week. And all of it is in compliance with what it's supposed to be. Just so everybody feels safe about that.
Feel safe.
I get asked all the time, and I'm just saying, Bobby has got the water and the sewer part side taken care of.
Okay. That's good to hear. Any questions from council?
I have a question from him.
Okay.
That's to Rick. Rick, where do we stand in terms of the state and we know the station?
Sure.
Where do we stand? Where do we stand with that?
The good news is we had no contact from the state for some time now. They, of course, get all of our reports. They're kept up to date on the performance, the numbers that Bob's running. And so far, knock on wood, we're in good shape. If that ever changes, you'll be the first to know.
Okay.
Okay.
We got alone.
Yes.
Oh, Mayor, one more thing if I could.
Yes.
I didn't have this in my monthly report because I didn't know it until the very end of last week. The lady from Duke's Root Control, where we did the I&I study for the town, she reached out to me last week, late in the week. I was supposed to meet John. He's gonna come by and meet me this week. Tomorrow sometime. He's supposed to call me when he's on his way. And I'm gonna touch base with him as far as our next wave, as far as starting where we should, and I'll get with different ones as far as getting the grant money with Paul or whoever. as far as getting the other problems taken care of. Because I have two ones I want to go do before the rest of them. But I will make sure that everything is still like it was, and I'll touch base with Josh Taylor from DBI for that.
Okay.
I'll keep y'all informed when that gets closer to or whatever.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay?
Thank you so
I'm
much.
sorry I forgot that.
Okay, grants office, Mr. Bissett?
I'll sit, do I need a microphone or am I loud enough?
You're loud.
My mother said all the time, my kids, for the recording. Essentially, again, I think my report is pretty comprehensive. So I tried to, create a report that's, it's very readable and somewhat conversational to give people a pretty good idea where everything's happening. I would like to point out, in regard to the audit, the independent audit report tonight, I hope that, this sort of helps. If anyone had waning confidence in the ability of the staff in town hall, this audit, once again, in my second year of audit, that the grant department and all the financials have come through with flying colors once again. And I just hope that that helps people realize that, that it's quite an accomplishment. And I hope everyone realizes that. And I'm really glad that he was here. And I'm really glad that he put it that way and put us in a very good standing, because everyone is trying very hard to maintain confidence with the citizens. And I think this was a great feather in our cap, so to speak. We're really just doing our jobs, but an independent auditor, when they come in, they have no vested interest in this outside of that they're charging us to do an audit, and it's their duty to report everything they find. And every municipality has to go through this. And I just think it's, December, it's in my report, but December was a particularly hairy month. The ARPA funds, which are COVID relief funds that the town was granted years ago, under completely different administration, and pretty much virtually an entirely different staff. The funds have all been either officially obligated through purchase orders, or invoices, or actually purchased items that are officially applicable to the tenets of the ARPA regulations. So that was an all hands on deck effort, and I appreciate everyone, because it was interdepartmental and there were a lot of different things happening concurrently, and I think we handled that pretty well. And you can't read that in my report, but I'm pretty proud of what everybody did. It was tough, and we got it done. And it was confusing. It was several documents, some of them hundreds of pages of rules that were fluid and changing. And I spent hours and hours and hours meeting with experts to make sure that we had everything up to snuff. And it appears that everything should be A-okay. I just want everybody to know it was crazy. It was crazy. And then the other thing I want to reiterate for redundancy, to make sure that it appears on the minutes, we had a public hearing. I had a public hearing at the last town meeting, discussing the town's intention to apply for a CDBG, which is a Community Development Block Grant, which comes from the Department of Housing and Community Development, DHCD. We are applying for a $50,000 grant to facilitate, to assist the town in paying a consultant to revamp our town's comprehensive plan, which is something that needs to be done every 10 years. Because of COVID, a lot of municipalities are behind on that, and we are certainly also behind. But I just want to reiterate, so that it appears in the minutes once again, that the town is applying for a $50,000 grant to help the town pay a consultant to revamp our town, required by the state municipal comprehensive plan. Does anyone have any questions for me?
Questions, Mr. Wade?
Yes, sir.
We have talked.
Could you use a microphone, sir?
Yeah, just get it first.
Can you hear?
Yeah.
we had talked several times about the planning grant. We said you were going to, have we got to that point?
So I met with the planning commission last night. So as I've stated before, essentially, my role initially in this as grant administrator is applying for the funds so that we can pay a consultant to come in. The planning commission and we all discussed and everyone agreed that there will be every possible attempt, questionnaires, surveys, multiple opportunities for public input and community input to make sure that this comprehensive plan accurately and effectively represents what the town needs moving forward to create and enhance our community for the better.
And I'm not questioning that. I'm coming to the point that when you came on board, and I think I've asked you about 3 or 4 times, just quickly, you know, keeping heads up, the concern of the application, and has the application been submitted yet?
No, it hasn't, because I wanted to meet with the planning commission first. There's been a draft since last meeting. No one, it's available for anyone to come look at, and that was announced at the public hearing. I assume some people would want to see it, but no one has contacted me about it.
I shared with you on several occasions, and I wanted to see if you promised me that before it went forward, we would do that because of the concern specifically that I had based on the 2010 comprehensive plan and the number of meetings we held.
Right, but the application, all I'm stating in the application is that and it's actually not necessary to put that in the application. I'm just putting it in there to let the CDBG people know, because community involvement is a big thing for them. I want to let them know that we will take every opportunity, or the planning commission will take every opportunity they can to involve the community as much as possible and take into account the community wishes. The number of meetings or anything, none of that goes into the grant application. All I'm saying, and it's actually just fluff that I'm putting in there, is that I'm describing the community involvement, but really what I'm describing is the community involvement in the comprehensive plan. It's not the community involvement in the grant application. Is just for the money to pay the consultant, and that's who needs to involve the.
Respectfully, I'm only following up on our discussion.
I thought that's what we talked about.
It is.
Yeah.
But, you know, that was our discussion. I didn't realize last night, I'm certainly been because I was in another meeting, but I thought with the transfer, I think that scheduled out something, but that's neither here nor there. All I'm saying to you, respect what you've done. You're doing a great job. Have no complaints about it. I would ask Rick before then it goes, I would like to see it as a.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, for the reason it covers.
Yeah, just to clarify, this exercise is simply about hiring the consultant. We are going to be soliciting qualifications, proposals from consultants with experience in comprehensive plan updates to compete against each other to be selected to be our consultant. Once the planning commission and then the town selects someone, they will be given a work order. And that's when we'll have all of this input, because the work order that we in turn charge the consultant with is going to be where we demand and make assurances that there will be much more than adequate public participation.
And I'm
So it's
sensing,
the cart before,
I really,
doing things in order.
I really sense that.
Yeah.
My obligation, having been there, been a part of that, been leading that committee out there, where we faltered. And my concern is for the best interest of this community, that we put that stuff up front so that we can cover ourselves with all the fluff and whatever else we gotta cover ourselves with, make certain that Snow Hill gets what it deserves.
I believe we're all on the same page on public
Fantastic.
participation.
Fantastic.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, if anybody has any questions, you know where to find me.
Okay, great. Julia A. Purnell Museum, Mr. Pollitt.
Nothing really to report other than there was another meeting between officers of the Purnell Museum, the town, and the Furnace Town staff. And some board members of the Furnace Town still exploring the opportunity of having some sort of a 3-way relationship between Furnace Town, the Purnell Museum, and the town to get the museum back up and running and the attraction that it's always been. One of our board members is here tonight, and she shared with us that they had a very good Christmas season. They are open by appointment now, and they've had a very good
Yeah, I
response from
think they
people
had-
coming by and
60 some,
We had almost like 68 people come through.
yeah,
More than we've ever had.
yes,
I've been on the board with about 15.
that's pretty amazing.
So it was, and people came and they stayed. That was quite exciting.
Good.
thanks for looking up.
Yes, definitely, thank you. Police department, chief is out with security right now. But anybody have any questions on his report? Mr. Pollock can probably answer those. I see where we had only our thefts in town, significant decrease from last year. No reported vehicle break-ins in December. Let's see. He's working on, I know, some grants for some more cameras around town. Anything else that you? No, he's
Just
looking-
share that we are actively looking for a potential new location for the police department. As you know, the firehouse is no longer available for public use. The police department, while they are in a much better safety position there, we are also looking to follow up where we can put them in a place that's convenient to the town and also promotes safety for the workplace and the public.
Okay, all right, thank you. Any questions on that, on police department? Okay. Chief Creech, Fire Department. Glad to have you here.
Yes, thank you for having me. We participated in our annual fundraiser of Operation Santa. We delivered presents to over 50 different families this year.
Yeah,
It was our most successful one.
really, okay.
Yes. Definitely had an increase of calls last year, 15% more on the fire side and just about 9% more on the EMS side. And we're already looking to increase that this year going forward. So it's continually getting busier for our career staff and our volunteers out there. The two big action items, we did place the order for our new air packs, which the town contributed 75,000 local funds to. So thank you very much for that. The total cost was $443,995.32 between contributions from the town and the county. The department is liable for $218,995.32. Our delivery of that is expected in 90 to 120 days. Not only did we need new air packs, but with this, we were able to increase the operating time for our firemen and firewomen in the structure by doing this. So we got the best possible product for our members, and that's going to help the community out too. The other big item is the ISO review came back. Mr. Pollard, I believe you received it as well. We maintained the same rating from 8 years previous. Going through that and reviewing it myself, there's definitely places that we can improve upon. So my long-term goal, we don't get reviewed for another 7 to 8 years. My long-term goal is to try and bring us up one classification. If I can get us up 2, I'm going to do that, but the long-term goal is at least 1 right now. We've begun to implement changes to affect that now. So that way it is standard for us come 8 years from now, and we'll continue to review and adapt as necessary.
Great. Good news. I like your high expectations there.
Thank you.
And thank you for the goat drop. That was
You're very
lots of fun. Lots of fun. We enjoyed that.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions for Chief Creech?
I just out of curiosity, when you said the operating time, when they're in a structure, that means the breathing packs are what they wear when they go into
Yes. So
a smoke or fire.
Yep, absolutely. So currently we have what we would term as 30-minute cylinders. So in an ideal situation, if we're sitting down resting, we'd be able to use that cylinder for 30 minutes. We've increased that to 45-minute cylinders that we're going to be wearing on our backs. And then our packs that we use if there's a downed firefighter are increasing to 60 minutes. So we were able to encompass this all into this one order, which was the goal from the start, but it was great to actually do it. So we're increasing the time that we're able to use the packs. Generally speaking, we've now increased our usable time from about 15 to 18 minutes to closer to 30 to 36 minutes. So that gives us plenty of time to go in, extinguish the fire, and then come out and have other crews go in to finish what we need them to do.
Thanks for explaining that.
You're very welcome.
Layman's terms.
You're very welcome.
Any other questions, comments? Okay. All right, Snowville High School. We have Aaliyah Weaver, who is also a senior, and you're standing in for Mary Ann, correct? Okay. So give us your report.
It looks great. The winter concert, the community winter concert that we held last month was a huge success. So thank you to everyone who made that a possibility. And please feel free to catch a game, meet or match, and support our Eagles. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. All right, okay, on the agenda, let's see, we need to go to the next section of unfinished business. And because of difference in posting time, all action, let's see, action items B, C, and D, we need to have a motion to move to February the 11th.
And I use the term defer.
Defer, okay, defer to the next regular meeting in February. So do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
One discussion.
Sure.
Could we just have a little more, so we have many residents here tonight, and I'm sure they came for the meeting and also, because they're interested in the agenda items and the ordinances that were up for vote tonight. So I just wanted them to have a little fuller picture that there was a discrepancy in the posting time we found out.
Okay.
Well, the council found out this afternoon from the town. About an hour and a half. So the Open Meetings Act requires 24-hour publication of the meeting and the agenda. And through just a mistake, I guess the meeting was not posted, the agenda was not posted until an hour and a half past the deadline, which means that the council cannot vote on any of the items tonight, but we'll be moving it to the next meeting. And I believe the mayor and the attorney said that we can still entertain public comment on all of the ordinances that were up for vote, but the actual vote would not be able to take place tonight because of that missed deadline of posting the agenda.
Okay. All right, thank you. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion is passed. Okay, go on to comments from the public.
Mayor, we missed the new business item. Need to defer that to the special meeting.
We passed that. We already passed
She-
that.
she-
Is that included in the original? Okay.
Yes, we've already.
I wrote down 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, comments from the public, need any substantive?
I'll defer.
Defer? Okay. Nick Anthus. You want to come forward?
Sure. So,
Give your address and
sure, I live at 201 Colborne Lane.
thank you.
I'm the house with the Christmas decorations.
Yes. Lots of Christmas decorations, yeah.
So I've been reading this thing and I might be kind of ignorant on some of the pieces and parts of it. But as I've been watching this go down over the last several months, my concern is that we're putting a dollar figure on this thing, whether it's the ordinance for the businesses, either $250 or $500. And no matter what number we put on that thing, we're losing money in the town. From what I understand and what I've been listening to meetings, it actually costs us more money than that to actually have somebody go out there and inspect the property. So my concern is that we're losing dollars because we keep trying to put a dollar figure in the ordinance rather than just say whatever the cost is, that's what it should be. And I know I'm not here to change the wording, but it just seems to me Like, I think you guys have visited this ordinance at least 3 or 4 times in the
Yes.
last couple of years. And it just seems like a futile attempt to try and figure out this thing. But I do think that I don't have a solution. I've been trying to think of solutions or ideas about filling these vacant businesses. And while I don't like the idea, like Eddie has talked about before, about penalizing people, through some sort of punitive measure of gathering profit for our town, I don't know how else to convince some of these people who are letting their buildings sit vacant and unfixed and unfinished, to move them forward without hitting them in the pocketbook. I wish there was a better solution, but I just see that our town has so many vacancies, and I don't know all the ins and outs of it. So I feel like I could use more education on that, but just from the outside looking in, it seems like we could be doing something different, and we keep on trying to hit this same thing and trying to figure out what this dollar figure is. And I think, from my perspective, that might be the wrong direction.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, Linda Beasley. Please give your address, Linda.
114 Maple Street, Nottingham. Okay, on December 5th, on Maple Street, Snow Hill, Maryland, my granddaughter, Carter, was unfortunately struck by a car. As far as I know, the driver wasn't speeding, but I can't be sure because I didn't see it myself. The driver, as with all other drivers, should be aware when they come on that street because there are children. And over time, the volume has increased. We do have an autistic child on the upper end of the street. The mother was coming at night, but she had another affair. She said she had stepped up and said something like this before, but it was ignored. She wanted a sign put out there to let people know that there was an autistic child there. A neighbor said she had spoke up about a year ago to Chief McGee about
It was like a patrol, a police officer being there during the morning when the kids get on the bus and in the afternoon for the safety.
Okay, I understand. I'm quite sure that the police force is understaffed. And I know it costs money. But I think there's a possibility of something else that could be done. During the summer, that road is like a racetrack, back and forth. And I think maybe with speed bumps or maybe flashing speed sign, something, can be done. And we definitely need a sidewalk. These kids are coming from back on Covenant. They're coming from, I guess that's the east side of Maple. And some are even coming from Caddysmart. The street has become very busy. But I just thought sidewalk bumps or even a flashing light or with a camera could help, just make people aware that there are children there and that they need to be more careful. Because they're not paying children in mind. So I'm hoping that you acknowledge this and you will do something about it before the worst comes to shove. The next time that child, or it could be my child again, may not be as lucky. She was lucky, but she still could have complications in the long run. But the next time it could possibly be death. And that's not only for the children, it's adults that walk too. We have senior adults that walk that street. So I hope you take it in consideration and do something about it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. John Dillon.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, and
Address.
Mr. Town Manager. How are you all?
Good.
Good, good. All right, I'm here to speak on the vacant property ordinance firstly, and then I'm going to speak briefly as the Planning Commission Chairman of the Comprehensive Plan. All right, let's set the table. In this town, which is a very small town, we don't have a lot of businesses. We've got approximately a dozen vacant businesses. A couple have been vacant for at least 10 years, and tell me if my facts are wrong, there is a property that is nearly 30 years vacant. We've communicated, we've cajoled, we've pled with these property owners over the years, and not yet has any one of them been induced to take any positive action to improve the properties, to sell the properties, to work with us, to do anything collaboratively to make them economically viable or productive. Our community deserves the opportunity to be vibrant, thriving, and grow, and to control our own destiny. These out-of-town owners, they don't care about how our town looks to the outsiders. They don't care about our collective property values, and make no mistake, with 13 vacant properties to this degree, everybody living in town, property value pays a price for that because it looks bad. It's well past time to take action. These fees, which frankly are a bit of a penance compared to what many communities do with these types of situations, at least give us a chance to induce these owners to get either working harder to get tenants or to sell, or perhaps if these fees pile up and then we can seize it and we can do something. 13 business properties in this town. I don't know right off how many business properties there are, but that's a pretty high percentage of the total to just be sitting there gathering dust, not growing in value, not increasing any tax revenue, none of these things. Occupied and maintained properties are a positive for us all on several layers. Aesthetics, property values, and the potential for real revenue if these could be operating businesses. It's shameful that a small group in this town oppose this activity, specifically when, and you correct me if I'm wrong, no town resident owns any one of these properties. So you ask yourself, why is there resistance? I don't know. I understand what Mr. Anthony said about putting a price on these things, but we've got to do something. We need some teeth. We're getting teeth. We're modernizing our codes. We've got a very competent codes enforcement person. You all have been working hard, and this is just part and parcel of that same thing to make this town more valuable and more attractive. Because we need cash and we need people, and that's just the way it works. I think that anyone that opposes this is short-sighted and petty and demonstrates that they don't actually have the collective goodwill of the town at heart. Any parties that are in resistance and they don't own properties, I just want to say, why would you resist this? We've never done anything. These people are out of town. They use these properties for their own financial gain. They likely write them off as loss on their own taxes while we sit here with empty storefronts, and it's unsad. So what are we afraid of? Are we afraid they're going to close a business that's thriving?
No.
No. That's 3 minutes. Can I get another 3 on the planning commission as chairman?
No, yes. Please.
2 different people, 2 different topics, very briefly.
Brief, just do
1
it.
minute, set it for 1, and I'll be done.
Do
I
it.
promise.
Do it.
Okay. We are gonna have a fully constituted commission next month. We're excited to pair up with the consultant to get alongside them, figure out how to do this. Of course, we are gonna do everything in our power to get as much community feedback as we possibly can. There is no conspiracy afoot to keep it close to our chest. I'm a citizen, there are other citizens. When it's done, we want it to be comprehensive, achievable, actionable, and to be certain that it reflects the collective will of the citizens. I am committed to that all day long.
Thank you. Diana Nolte.
your address. And Milty, I own a commercial property at 112 West Green Street, where I own and operate Snow Hill Toys and the Imagination Village Family Play Center. I'm speaking tonight in favor of the vacant building registration ordinance. Main Street America communities across the country have used ordinances similar to this one as one of their many tools in a toolkit for revitalizing downtown historic commercial districts. This was reinforced for a group of us who attended the Maryland Main Street Conference in October in Frederick, Maryland. We heard from representatives from both Brunswick, Maryland and Frederick, Maryland. Both communities have successfully used the vacant building ordinance along with other incentives and support programs to reduce vacant and inappropriately used spaces in their downtown commercial districts. I urge you to pass this ordinance.
Thank you. Thank you. Tom Davidson.
Hi, my name is Tom Davidson. I live at 202 West Market Street. And it took some of the fun out of me, but like this gentleman was saying, and like John was saying, I agree 100% on, there's no sense in having an ordinance unless you have teeth in it. But I'd like to add on to that by saying, and I've mentioned this many times before, it also ruins our property value when you see all these houses around town that have cars right in their grass, right in their driveways. They don't have any tags on them. They've been there for 2 or 3 years. And the police department, they got their hands tied behind their back because the ordinance says, if I'm correct, that they have to have a tarp over it. So they put a tarp on it and the next day it blows off. And if it is complained about again, the policemen go around there, they tell them they gotta have a tarp on it. They've got 30 days to put a tarp on it. And then they put the tarp on it and we have a windy day and it blows off the next day. So it's not solving any problems. And it's making our town, like John said, the property values go down. When you go down the street and you see 2 or 3 cars that they're there in the yard, they don't have any tags on them, they've been wrecked for years. And they can't even keep a tarp on it, although some of them try to keep a tarp on it, but something more needs to happen and it needs to have teeth in it. Now, the next thing I wanted to bring up, and I don't know if, you say we can only bring up certain things, but I'd like to bring up an article that I read in the paper. Is that allowed?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I read this article by Mr. Lee about, an emergency meeting and certain things that he would like to see. And I lived in this town for 43 years. I went to school here before that. I didn't live in town, but I went to school here. And I've always thought of this town as like a family. We don't always get along. We always sometimes we have differences of opinions and stuff like that. But we work it out amongst ourselves. We don't put it in the paper. We don't make it look like it's an emergency when it's really not. And Kokomo, Berlin, they look at us like we're a bunch of idiots here. We don't need that. We need to work amongst ourselves and get the problem solved. And we need to get the problem solved in a proper manner, not extend it out for 2 or 3 years or something like this. Come up with something, get it enforced, and let the policemen and the people do what they're supposed to do. That's all I've got. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that's all I have here. Comments from the council. Let's start with Councilperson Lee.
Oh, excuse me, I was on the list.
Oh, you were?
Yes, I was on the other list.
Oh, there's another list?
Yeah.
Okay. Gosh, I'm not used to this.
I thought we were doing it in order.
Okay. All right, Carol Jenkins. I have a maybe also on here.
Oh. Hi, I'm Carol Jenkins Pike, and I live at 207 West Martin. And what John has already said about the ordinance, I'm just seconding that. I'm also seconding what Diane Lottie has said, because I have worked downtown at the toy shop. And I would love to see more businesses. So I'm not going to go into detail with that one. I'm definitely with you all. But I'd also like to say that thank you again for the snow removal. But for somebody who likes to walk in town and cycle in town, although I wasn't doing that this week, I would love to have some form of set in stone about shoveling the sidewalks, your pavements. Because I don't think everybody in town knows that that's a requirement, especially as we've got new residents and we've got elderly residents who aren't able to do it. So I was thinking maybe we need a community snow shoveling group. So that we can, it was just an idea, and I'm sort of volunteering my husband, who seems to love to shovel snow, but maybe we can get it together, because it's quite upsetting to not be able to walk outside and walk around town, especially up Church Street as it was even the day after. If the snow had been removed immediately or within a few hours, then the ice wouldn't have set in. So I know it was an unusual occurrence for us to have so much snow, but maybe we can have a group that go out there and voluntarily help people if they need it. I don't know. That's just an idea. I love this town, and I think community is what it's all about, and what everybody else has said, I will second. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Carol. I have a maybe, Preston Reed.
Hi, I'll be quick. I'm Preston Reed, 116 West Market Street. I'm in favor of passing the vacant building ordinance. The building across from the courthouse on Market Street has been vacant for at least 25 years since I've been in town, so it's time to start getting stuff done.
All right, okay, thank you. All right, we don't have any more sheets. All right, comments from the council. Start with Councilperson Lee.
First, we all come here with different perspectives of government and how to get things done, particularly when you sit up here. When you place yourself in a position in government or governance, you have to take what comes with that when you have an opinion of your own, A, and B, when you must respect the opinion of others. And all of you have spoken tonight, and those who, I don't know if we're still on that thing or not, haven't spoken about the letter that was written. Folks, I took an action. Now, and I'll stand behind the action and any responsibility that comes with it. I think it was the right thing to do. Understand why? I hear, and we know that many of us have been there for many years. Some of us have been always, it seems like, on different sides of the conversation, no matter what it is, no matter what. I'm a Snow Hill. Let me, since I have this opportunity and I don't like to clock on you, let me share something with you.
Can you talk in a mic, please?
Sure. I have family history of over 125 years here in Snow. And I don't come here lightly to impose my beliefs or my feelings upon anyone. But what I'm concerned about is this community that I live in. So when I make mistakes, and I don't know at this juncture, I have made a mistake. I think that what's going to happen, what I see happening, ladies and gentlemen, I see this council doing what any other council does with people with good intentions. I see that letter bringing us closer together at this table to recognize there are differences in how we speak, how whatever we do. But we, thus far, I believe, recognize that the key to resolving the issues at this table, which resulted in that letter, are basic communications. And then with the commitment to the best interests of Snow Hill. I believe everybody setting up has that same interest. How we get to the end result, what we want, is the word in politics is always what? The difference is called what? Compromise. And I believe firmly that the people at this table, with their talent, with their energies, with their commitment, are about that. I want to make an announcement so that we clarify once again, my position on 2024 and 24-17. I'm not opposed to that. I'm not opposed to that. And I will vote for it. So don't let that be, and I've said this from this position, this pulpit, this desk. I've said it before. I don't know why it has not been heard by those. I wasn't opposed to it in the beginning. And I will vote for it when the time comes. I've said that to that lady sitting right there every since it's come up. I said, I'm not opposed to it. I've said it repeatedly to her. But I'm not going to sit here and go along with things just to go along. I have a constituency that I represent, and I'm going to represent that constituency. I have a belief system within me that keeps me moving forward every day. And I'm going to honor and respect that system. That's what got me here. We are, even though I imagine somebody going to sit here right now, put it together. I want to put it together. I've never opposed the bill as such. What did I oppose? Well, you didn't vote for it, you voted against it. I voted against what was taking place to get it there. So that's where I am, folks. I'm with you in terms of what's best for Snow Hill. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilperson Walsh.
Yeah, thank you, everybody for coming out. We really appreciate the effort and the time that it takes to be here. We really do. I know I came to just a few meetings before I was on the council. Anyway, thank you, everybody, for being here. I did hear a commonality between what, if I could just speak to it, and to have the council consider putting sidewalks on an agenda in the near future. I had a message this week from somebody in the Eastern District, back in the apartments on the back of Purnell, concerned about sidewalks for their kids and waiting for the bus stop. And then hearing Carol say, you realize how important sidewalks are when you have snow and ice and you can't walk on them. Today I was walking the dog on Morris Street, and there aren't any sidewalks at the end, and there's a FedEx truck parked on one side, the mail truck, and the school bus coming down the middle, and no sidewalks, and there's kids walking, and some cars trying to weave around the school bus, the mail truck, and the FedEx truck. So this was out kind of where the fields are when you're coming, if you're heading toward the school. There's two fields on either side. So I think that would be a really important discussion, is to start visiting the sidewalks in the code and how we can move forward on that and finding money for kids, for sidewalks, for safety.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilperson Fletcher.
I think everybody that's here is full for our first time being here at the government building. Miss Linda, I have spoken several times about safety in that area.
Yeah.
I will continue to talk about it, but nothing.
Right.
But we will try, maybe we can get a group together or something.
Yeah,
It
'cause I'm
needs to
not
be
gonna stop
further
till something's
discussed.
done. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's been going on too long.
And we do have more kids, but even in sidewalks is a situation everywhere in town because
Yeah.
I see more children walking to school and it's
Include
not
Dayton.
safe.
Include Dayton.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And a crosswalk.
Finish it? Okay.
Mayor, just one thing, don't lose that idea. That volunteer thing that you have done. Please come back. That's what we need. It may not be the snow shovel, but it may be something else. The spirit is needed.
Well, and to piggyback off of that, I had just said to Councilman Walsh, at the end of our work session, we were talking about the snow. And I have elderly family that I shovel for, but I couldn't get out, so I was kind of worried and so glad that you didn't go to their house and give them a fine.
Speaking about that,
So, and I wonder if we could even figure out as a town, like seniors and if they would maybe need help to get.
Yeah.
the
It's on
snow
Tuesday.
out.
Let me have the next one, right?
So attorney,
Can I ask a question?
attorney, not yet. Not yet. Attorney Howard?
I had double checked with Candace in her notes about what she had about the first motion, and she didn't have anything about Purnell Street ordinance being mentioned. And I'm hypersensitive to Purnell Street, so could we maybe make an announcement that Purnell Street ordinance is going to be set to a
I
special
said
meeting?
ordinance, I said in the motion, this ordinance 2025-1.
Did we announce when the special meeting was?
Yeah, I
In
heard
this-
it.
Okay,
Yeah,
I think I might be fixing the.
yeah, I
board
think
at
you
the
were.
time,
I think
And I
you
just
were.
wanted you to announce it. Yeah.
Yes, I can do that. I can reannounce. There was a motion, for, our board appointment, oath of office for Dr. Turnbull, approval of minutes and the treasurer's report. And that's going to be moved to January the 16th. That's Thursday at 5 PM and it will be right here. And the Purnell, the 2025-1. Is that good? Okay. And yes, I just want to make a couple comments. I want to thank the county commissioners. When we could not be in the firehouse anymore because of some safety issues, the county commissioners said we have a room. You can come in here and it's no cost to you. And we have a whiteboard that we've never been able to use before. And we've got nice heat here because sometimes it's lots cold. We have bathrooms. You don't have to go upstairs. The bathroom's right across the hall. And we are very happy that they have extended as a partnership to the town. And I just wanted to say that and recognize it. Also, I announced that, I met with, AGH and Tidal Health, and they're merging together and they're going to send, and not till May, but they're going to send another PA, doctor to Snow Hill. And there will be first house at the health department, but they're finding an office in town to help with the needs of our community. And I'm just very, very excited to hear that. So, okay, here we go. Did you say something?
Yeah, what's the fine for a shovel sidewalk?
$50 the first time, $100 the second time, and then $500 the third time.
Wow.
And there is in the ordinance a condition, if there is someone that is, cannot do it, they're to contact the code enforcement officer, which is me. And it's my determination as to if they're speaking the truth, then we can work on ways to give them individual help with maintaining that.
Okay, thank you. Now, do we have a motion to adjourn? What?
Can I just say
You
one
wanna
thing
add
about the
something?
sidewalks? Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
In 2020, the town had hired an employee here for them, because that administration then was wanting to put sidewalks in,
Mm-hmm.
Cypress, Dayton, Maple, Covington,
Right.
Ross. Him and I did all the measuring. Got all the pricing for the concrete, what it costs, all the way to the school and out to the high school. So no children have to walk in there. So if you're wanting that, I still have the information.
Okay.
It's the
That's
concrete,
wonderful.
the concrete amount is not gonna change. The price of it for installing it will, because he was employed at the time by the town. Now you're gonna have to pay probably him to put it in.
Okay.
Just like, you know, I think I still have,
Have that
I
information?
think I still have it. I think I saw it the other
Look
day.
it up and get it to us. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned. Here.